Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am here to give you my Walking Dead review. It's been 2 months since I've said that. I'm glad I finally get to say it. It's back on. Now you're probably wondering, why is it late? Let me tell you why. I was watching the interview and I was reviewing it, and I really needed to get that up, but it's actually edited right now, so that's good and fine. But let's watch The Walking Dead, review it. So as it goes to commercial, I'm going to make small videos to combine the big videos. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how it will be. And I don't know. And if you're wondering what day it came out, just look at the bottom of the video. Because I'm going to start posting them the night that they come out from now on. But I can't wait. It's the mid-season finale. I believe I'm going to guess. And let's see if I can guess this right. I believe it's season 5, episode 9. I believe that's what the episode is, but I don't know what the name is yet, so I'm gonna check it out and then I'll get into it with you. So let's see how this goes. Let's see if this Walking Dead episode is gonna be good, or let's see if it's gonna suck. But let's see. All right, the first thing we see happening is we see somebody. I don't know who it is because it didn't show. Digging probably Beth's grave, and then it shows like a bunch of images, like a chalk drawn sun with a smiley face on it, like cars. I'm not going in order at all, by the way. With like a zombie in there trying to get out, and they have like a funeral for Beth. We see Maggie, who's gonna go insane. Well, like this part of the season, I know it too. And Noah, I think that's his name, is crying. And the priest, I believe his name is Gabriel. I haven't watched the show in 2 months, so the names are going to be a little bit off for a little while. I know everybody else's name, I just don't know the new guy. The new characters is going to be tough to talk about. But they're just having the funeral, the priest is saying a prayer, and it shows like a picture of these 2 young kids. I believe one of them looked like it was Noah, but I don't think it was him. I'm just saying. Then it shows the prison, the train tracks, Rick, Daryl, and Glenn steal a car. And then Noah tells Rick about Virginia, about the place that him and Beth were going to go when they escaped the hospital. And Rick tells everyone, you see Glenn, Eugene, and they tell them that they're going to go there, and if it's not around, they keep moving. And Michonne says that they find another place. And then they leave, and we see those 2 little girls that Kale killed last season, and one of them says it's better now. I don't remember their names, so I can't tell you. And then it showed like this picture of like a house, and you see ink spill on it. So I thought this actually was a nice start of the season. They didn't do anything big because I wasn't expecting them to, but I thought this was a nice start. Alright, so this episode's called... Actually, let me look at that real quick. What happened and what's going on? So, we see the gang traveling. They were just driving from South Carolina, and we see Glenn, Rick, Tyrese, who's driving, Noah, and Michonne, and Rick is talking to Carol through the radio, talks about how they're going to get there in another 5 miles. He's going to contact Carol in 20 minutes. So then Noah talks about how Tyrese had a good plan with the trade, but it just, whether it worked or not, it was a good plan. And Tyrese said he wished it had a different outcome. And Noah said that was the first time he ever wanted to kill someone. Tyrese said he had before too, and he talks about how... they always told him and Sasha his father always told him and Sasha to keep track of the news no matter what, so he would always watch the news and always keep track of it. And then Rick wants to settle the rest of it on foot, so they parked the car in the woods, and it looked like it's like in the wreck because there was like a bunch of cars there and stuff, so it looked like it was in the wreck. So then they come across some trees with barbed wire around it, so they have to go under it, and Noah cuts his head on it. And when they get to Virginia, where Noah lives, there's a wall. He talked about that there was going to be a wall there. It looked like Woodbury, kind of. And Noah tries to knock on it. Nobody answers, so Glenn looks over the wall. He doesn't see anybody there, but we don't actually see it. So then Noah goes over the wall to see what's going on, and it's just gone. Nobody's there. It's gone. So Noah starts to cry, and everyone apologizes. You know, they feel sorry for him because he pretty much just lost his town. He really wanted to get here. So then Rick says, we're just going to get supplies and move on. And Michonne's like, where are we going to go? And Rick doesn't really give much of an answer. So they go to get the supplies. Tyrese stays back. Michonne kills some zombies on the way. Michonne doesn't seem happy that Rick doesn't really know, like, the next plan of action. So then back, Rick and Glenn are talking to each other. When Rick talks about how he wanted to kill Dawn back at the hospital, and it wasn't even because of Beth, because he knew she accidentally killed Beth, which it is true, because I did mention it, how when Beth stabbed her, she did shoot a gun by accident. And then Rick talked about how he wanted to get Noah here for Beth, because Beth really wanted to get him here. And Glenn is upset because after he lost everything, he talked about how everything was going great. You know, after the prison, he found Maggie. Everything was going great, but then they lost Washington. Now they lost Beth, and they don't really know what to think anymore. And Michonne tells them that they've been out there too long. Then back, Noah's sitting with Tyrese, and Tyrese talked about after he lost everything, after the prison, after he lost his girlfriend. He said he had to deal with he could have just given up and not want to be alive. But if he had done that, he would have never got Judith back to her father, and that's really what he needed to do. He needed to get Judith, and since he didn't give up, he got Judith back to her father. So then Noah runs off. He just takes off running, and he goes to his house, and he wants to see what's in there. And no, Tyrese doesn't want him to go in there. But Tyrese, I guess he talks Tyrese into it. He grabs his knife and he wants to go ahead. And when they enter Noah's house, they see somebody. I thought at first this was Noah's mom, but I think it was like his sister, because it was somebody whose like head had been eaten, laying on the floor dead. And when Tyrese walks away from him, Noah puts a blanket over her and says, "Sorry, Summer, I couldn't get here sooner." So Tyrese is scaling his house. We see a zombie in the doorway, and then Tyrese goes into and there's a zombie laying on the bed, and Tyrese goes into Noah's room. He sees all of his pictures, and he's like impressed by him. And we saw these earlier too. And then a zombie bites Tyrese, and then Noah uses like a fake star to stab it and kill it. I think it's like one of those stars that he had like hanging up on. I don't even know where he found this actually. And he's gonna go get something. So this isn't good for Tyrese. It looks like he's gonna turn. I actually think this kind of sucks because I really do like Tyrese. I actually think he's pretty cool. So yeah, this kind of sucks. But I actually thought this was some pretty entertaining stuff. So let's see what happens now. All right. So Tyrese is hallucinating. He's seeing things. He sees that guy it's from the first episode of this season, that he, what's his name? I forget his name, but he was gonna kill Judith, and he forced Tyrese to go outside, and then he came in, beat the crap out of him, but he didn't kill him. Talked about how he should have done it, maybe he wouldn't be bit right now, said it always happens to the nice guys, stuff like that. And then Bob says, "Hey, I got bitten a few bit because it was all meant to happen, don't listen to him." So then he sees the governor. That was kind of cool to see him. I didn't think you'd see him. And he's like, "Well, you did what you had to do to earn your keep, and you said you were going to do whatever you could, right?" So I thought that was cool. And then he sees the two little girls. I forget their names. And he tells them it's all going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. And then the governor said everything's not going to be fine. And he comes closer. And then we find out it was really a zombie coming closer to him. So Tyrese is trying to fight him off. He's trying to force him back, and he tries to grab his hammer, but it falls. And then he gets pushed like into a bookcase, and he lets the zombie bite his hand so that way he can grab like a stone that was on the shelf, and he beats him off the head with it, goes back under the desk because that's where he was, and the zombie is bleeding, and zombie blood I guess looks like ink, like you'd see from like one of those feathered pens that they used to use. That's literally what it looked like. But this was awesome stuff. I really enjoyed this scene. Definitely worth checking out. But that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, so now what happened is Michonne, Rick, and Glenn are just getting supplies. And Michonne's trying to think of ways that this can work. They can park the cars by the garage. They can knock the trees down, build a wall. But Rick and Glenn aren't buying that. And then they go to the opening of where the wall is. And there's like a bunch of zombie parts there, like pants. I don't think, but the pants aren't technically zombie parts. But they were there. What else was there? Like arms, legs, all that stuff. And they said, Michonne's like, well, that's what, do you really want to just make it? Because that's what it looks like. You could end up like them. And Glenn also says, too, that it wouldn't matter who killed Dawn. It would have still stayed the same. If it was you, me, or Dale. And then Michonne talks about Washington. We should go to Washington. I know Eugene lied about the cure, but he did find a mathematical way. That there are people there. Don't you want to not just make it? Don't you want a second chance? And then Rick thinks about it, and then he says that they should go to Washington. It's only 100 miles, too. So then we hear someone yelling for help. Rick, Glenn, and Michonne go there to see what's going on. And Noah is being attacked by zombies. So Glenn hits one of them off the head with a baseball bat. Michonne tries to use a sword. I guess it doesn't work. And so she's trying to force the zombie off, and Rick stabs it with the knife, and they tell him that Tyrese has been bit. So they run over to Noah's house to see Tyrese. I thought this was a pretty good scene. Let's see what happens now, though. Now that they're gonna find Tyrese. Okay, so now what happened is the back with Tyrese at Noah's house where he's been bit. They're playing now. This time he hears the radio. He heard the radio before, but now he hears Beth singing, and she's singing, standing along. I don't know. She's singing some sort of song. She's actually a really good singer. I'm not gonna lie about that. I do think she's gonna go into a music career. That's probably why they killed her off the show, because she wants to be a singer or something like that. And they're showing a bunch of these like clips, like it's everything like a bullet hole, the prison, all that stuff. And Bob, the little girls, and Beth talking about how they don't have to fight anymore, that they can just give up. He can just give up. And then Jim, and well, whoever that was, the guy that was going to kill Judith, says that you're just going to quit. People like you aren't meant to survive in this world. So then the governor talks about how you said you were going to do whatever you would earn your keep, but you didn't. I showed you everything and you did nothing. And then Tyrese gets in his face and says, you didn't show me anything. You didn't show me shit. You lied to me about who you were. You killed everybody. And I listened to the news and listened to all the people. And I did what I could to help out. So I thought that was cool. Then he falls, and the governor tells him, you didn't pay the bill. So then the girls are holding his legs, but then we find out really what happened is Rick cuts Tyrese's hand off. But I thought this was great stuff. I thought this was awesome. I think Tyrese is going to survive. I actually kind of want him to, because I'm a Tyrese fan. I think he's cool. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So let's see what happens next. Alright, so the episode just ended, for me anyways. Since it's now tomorrow, I have to say, because it's going to be tomorrow when this video uploads, I have to mention that this came out on February 5th. Well, not February 5th, February 8th, 2015. I thought this was actually pretty exciting stuff. So, Rick, Noah, Michonne, and Glenn are trying to get Tyrese out of town, out of the town, so that way he'll be all healed. They're getting him out of there, and they have to break the fence, and there's a bunch of zombies that are going to break in, so they have to go kill them. They do just that while Noah holds them. So then they run through the woods. They go through the barbed wire trees, and Tyrese's foot gets caught, so they have to release it. They get him in the van, and Rick tells Carol not to have Carl and Sasha not to come because they don't want Carl and Sasha to see this. And then they drive off, and they have the news playing, and Tyrese was just talking about how he always had the news playing. And then he says, turn it off. And then when he turns around, Bob says, are you sure? And then you see Beth actually driving the car, and she says, it's alright, Tyrese. Or something like that. And then the little girls are like, it's alright, Tyrese, it's always been okay. I forget what Beth says. And she's like, you can be with us now. So then Tyrese dies. They get him out of the car, and he dies. It was actually pretty sad. They dig his grave. They have his funeral. And that it showed earlier. And then Sasha buries the grave. And then Rick, you see the last thing you really see is Tyrese's hat on the cross. So this was sad. I'm really kind of pissed that we lost Tyrese here. It's kind of heartbreaking. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? But as for the episode, this was an awesome episode. This was very Tyrese focused. I thought this was a great episode coming back. And I thought it was just great. I liked the stuff with Tyrese. And I like what we know what they're going to be doing going forward. Now they're going to go to Washington, D.C. So I thought this was a great episode. I definitely suggest you watch it because I think you can still catch it at like 11 o'clock or something. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to subscribe to see more videos from me, you can click right here. That's pretty much it, guys. See you later.